going live on Facebook. However, something must be uh, wrong with my setup. So it's not going live. So we decided to just re-record this discussion, okay, and post it later as a live video. Okay, so we have a guest now, si Edward. I'm admitting Edward. Hello, Edward. Okay, so connecting to. So, okay, we have one more guest. You'll probably notice that we have more uh, cameras available. Okay, but the main panelists for this discussion are Ariel Macasaet. Ariel, can you say hello to our
Uh,
viewers?
Hi, good morning or good evening, wherever you are.
Yes. And Mario, greet our audience.
Good day, friends. Great to be with you. Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat. Thank you for coming here and to listen to our discussion on this very timely topic. Salamat po sa pagpunta dito.
Yes, and we have some field promotions. Merle, say hi to our viewers.
Hello, everyone. I'm Merle Faya from Minneapolis, Minnesota. The coronavirus is just reaching us and just starting to accelerate rapidly.
Yes, and the other guests you will see is Esther Kumagun, Gloria Antwerfia, Edward, Edward, and Kaden. Okay, they are the studio live audience. Okay, they are studio live audience, and later on we will have uh, a substantial discussion about this topic. Okay, but to introduce what we intend to achieve in this morning's program, okay, is okay. I will share my screen. Okay, let me do some preparations here. I will share my screen. Okay, so I'll share the. Okay, so this is our topic for today, my friends. Okay, what is the cause of and solution to the coronavirus 19 epidemic? This is a worldwide concern, and so far, what our guests I have introduced is this is Ariel and Mario. So Merle is here. Merle will introduce himself in depth later. Okay, and as you can see, the public is invited as Zoom Studio Live audience. My mom informed me earlier that um, most studio live programs on television have been canceled because of the social distance practice protocols in place right now. So I think this kind of Zoom activities would take the place of the studio television studio productions, live talk shows. So uh, please join us. Those who can hear us, please continue to join us. Okay, so this is the post. We have made several introductions, okay, or invitations. Okay, so this is it. And then, okay, I'll stop the sharing now. So for the first part of our program, I'd like to invite our panelists for a more in-depth introduction of themselves. Okay, so you please introduce yourselves. What point of view are you coming from? How do you intend to, uh, to respond to the question at hand? Okay, so I think we could start with Ariel. Ariel, okay, please
I
introduce
suggest,
yourself.
I suggest that Mario started the topic because he's the source of the article that been posted to the Facebook that you're able to found it and became your main project for this conversation. I allow Mario to do it first.
Okay. Okay, Mario, the floor is yours.
Okay,
Ariel would
there's
like
so
to speak.
yeah. Um, you know, friends in the study like myself, uh, we've come to share a different perspective on coronavirus in great contrast to what we normally see on social media or even in mainstream media, where you're just given statistics on what's going on, the problems that are being countered by both government and uh, private individuals, what's happening in the facilities, and so on. We, the students of BNEI Baruch, would like to present a different perspective on this global phenomena. And we know that in the past, uh, events like this have taken place, like the Spanish flu, the bubonic plague, and of course the more familiar catastrophes like earthquakes and tornadoes and so on. In the Philippines, it's going to be typhoons. Why do these things happen? What's the purpose of these things happening? And we know there's a general force that governs the reality around us, and this this general force that governs how the different elements of nature interact uh, allows these things to happen for good reason. It's always for the good, and that's what we want to understand, because what we do with the numbers climbing now. Of course, many people will be pessimistic. They will feel bad. They will be afraid. They will be praying a lot, especially for relatives who are very vulnerable to disease. So we would like to present a different perspective on this, and how, in one point of view, this is a good thing for us. So this is what we hope to present later. And I'll be sharing some videos from our teacher, Dr. Michael Lightman out of Israel. You can also get them on YouTube. So we will be sharing all of these perspectives coming from different friends as well. So I'd like to thank Merle, and hopefully Caden can speak as well later on. And of course, Ariel, who is more or less the coordinator for the Philippines, a volunteer coordinator for the Philippines. um, and he was trained under Beneboro to give lectures, introductory and advanced lectures on the wisdom of authentic Kabbalah, which whose perspective we're taking on. So thank you, Ron.
Okay, and I'd like to welcome Osvaldo from China. Osvaldo, you're backlit. You're backlit. We couldn't see your. I mean, okay. Could you put some light on your face so we could see your handsome face? or yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Waldo,
Oh,
also a friend in the
Osvaldo.
study. He's also a
I
friend in
see.
the okay.
I see. Wow. Thank you, Osvaldo. Because it says here you're from. You're coming. Your location is China. I was expecting a Chinese. Okay.
Well, he can explain
Okay.
himself later. What's Oswaldo
Okay.
doing in China?
Is Oswaldo a panelist or a guest?
Yeah, well, he can be both. It depends on how much time we have, really.
Because I can give another field promotion for for Oswaldo. Oswaldo, would you like to join us as a panelist and not as a Studio Live audience guest?
Yeah, brother, I can speak or I can be a
Okay.
guest. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
If you can do both, I'd rather you do the first one as a panelist. Okay. Okay. So that was the introduction. Thank you, Oswaldo, for accepting. And Mario, Mario. Thank you. Ariel, would you like to do your introduction, personal introduction? How do you intend to approach answering our question for this program?
Okay, thank you.
Ariel, Ariel, I mean, okay.
Good morning, friends. The topic is the article wrote by, I think it's Sohar, one of our friend in the study of B'nai Baruch Kabbalah. First of all, B'nai Baruch Kabbalah. B'nai Baruch is an organization based in Israel. It's an
We,
international
Ariel,
organization.
we can start your introduction, personal introduction. We'd like to know, the audience would like to know who you are personally first.
I'm coming there. I'm coming there. I just have
Okay, okay,
to give the background. What is the organization I am representing? And it is
okay, okay.
there is a worldwide organization. Uh, all the lessons is translated into many languages, and I am one of the representative focus on the Philippine dissemination with Mario. Actually, we have a friend here, Oswald. He is based in China, but he is a student of B'nai Baruch also. So maybe we can get his opinion also about, in the perspective of Kabbalah, what is coronavirus that is going on now. It's a worldwide, it's a pandemic. So with my small knowledge about coronavirus, but the effect is kind of we have to really to talk about it. It's a serious thing, but as I heard for some opinion, it's a good thing. Like in the perspective of Mario, for those studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, kind of it's a kind of remedy. But I will try to put in a perspective taken from the article wrote by Zohar, who is a senior student of B'nai Baruch also, which I found it's really a deep thought about the source of the virus and the what is the remedy. And if I'm going to read the article, number one,
Uh,
nature.
Ariel, I'd like to. Are you going to read the whole article? I'd like to manage the time. Are you going to intend? Do you intend to read the whole article?
Because that is
Because
the subject I talk about. Where I'm
no,
going to get.
no. I would like to cut you there because we'd like to maximize our time to discuss what is the cause and the solution to the coronavirus epidemic.
Okay, you want me to summarize right away?
From your point of view, okay, from your point of
I
view.
cannot get in my point of view. The point of view that I'm going to get is the point of view of the Kabbalah.
If that is your preference, and you represent Kabbalah, right? You are Kabbalah. You are Kabbalah. Okay,
Presenting,
you are Kabbalah. Yes. Okay. Okay. Having said that, because we are still in the introductions portion, okay. So I will pass the floor now to Merle first. Okay, Merle.
you want everybody to speak before I have to continue.
No, for the introductions. These are we are still in the personal introductions.
All right.
Okay. So Merle, could you please introduce yourself for the benefit of our Studio Live audience and for our Facebook and worldwide audience? Please introduce yourself.
It would be my pleasure. I am Merle Faya. I am from Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the United States. I too am a student of Kabbalah and come from a perspective of this being a system-wide correction. So my introduction is that I'm a student who sees things as a system, and that this is just one of the functions of the system called correction.
Okay, thank you, Merle. And for my latest field promotion, Osvaldo. Osvaldo, could you please introduce yourself for the benefit of our Studio Live audience and for our viewers on Facebook?
Absolutely. Hello, friends. My name is Osvaldo. I'm a BARUCH student. It's been a couple of years now, and yeah, um, it's a long story. I was born in Mexico, but I'm also Canadian, and I work in China. So I've been studying Kabbalah in all three countries, and yeah, it's been an interesting experience, and it has given me a different perspective of all the different circumstances that we all face in this corporeal life. Thank you, friends.
Okay, thank you, Osvaldo. Now, for the benefit of our Studio Live audience and for our unseen viewers on Facebook, now, later, okay, I would like to give you a warning that our broadcast will not be in any way related. We will not be coming from a medical point of view. Okay? None of us here are public health officials. None of us here are medical officials or medical practitioners. So, uh, I, w- we'll be coming from a point of view that is quite different. Okay, and that point of view is they will be coming from a point of view of saying according to the laws of nature. Okay, a laws of nature. That's how I understand it. But of course, they can explain further. Okay, so without delaying further, the panels will now discuss. Okay, will answer. We'll try to answer and discuss two questions. Okay, two questions. First question is, what is the cause of the coronavirus epidemic? Number two question, what is the solution to the coronavirus problem? Okay, so who would like to start the ball rolling, dear panelists? I think Mario is the bravest. Mario, would you like to start the
Okay,
ball?
Rom, with your permission, with
Yes,
your
please.
permission, I'd like to share a video uh,
Okay,
of the answer of our teacher, our Rav,
okay. Yes, please.
Dr. Michael Lightman.
Mhm.
So it is ready on cue. Um, the question that was being asked of him is similar to what we are asking right now.
Mario, are you going to share your screen?
Yes, my video. Yes.
Okay.
So,
Now, my problem with that is our sign language interpreter will not be visible.
it's okay.
It,
It's okay.
I
It's okay.
mean, for me, it's not
We can
okay.
adjust it. What's important is the audience would be able to understand, and maybe we can make some editing or adjustments later. But it's important that we listen to what Rav has to say about this question. So
Okay, let me try to figure out how. Okay, let me see. I think I have to transfer the hosting
no need, Rom.
to Jay.
No
To
need,
Jay.
no need.
I mean,
Okay, just listen to Rav's answer. Okay, so the question was,
so this is
why?
audio. Is this audio?
Yes, yes. I will share the audio as well. Why did the coronavirus happen? Okay, here goes.
Okay.
The coronavirus is showing us how incorrect our relations are, that they're egoistic, consumeristic, and the time has come to show this to humanity and to teach humanity that it's better for all of humanity to be in quarantine than to have the kind of relationships that we have. And let's hope that we'll learn from all of these things that we're experiencing, that we have to reach a good and nice connection. And if we'll know how to work on ourselves, so that through ourselves we'll tie all the parts of nature into one system, then our life will be good and resulted in all possible ways.
Mhm. Oh, all right.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll just be rephrasing what or what I heard from what the Rab said. So it seems like there's a need for a restart, just like what Rom did with his computer when things weren't going well.
Mhm.
So it feels like the Rab is saying there's a need for a reboot of the system. So that's what it's forcing us to do right now. That's why this is the net effect of the coronavirus. Why is it happening? And he was saying because of that general reboot, we have to rediscover our interconnectedness, our oneness as a system. Because along the progress of humanity, there have been some inefficiencies, some instead of complementing each other, just like the cells in a human body, where each organ and the organs in the body, where they complement each other, some parts of the body got sick, meaning they forgot that they're supposed to be part of the system. So by having the system reboot, we rediscover that, then that's we have this coronavirus showing us, pointing to us that we have to rethink, and that's why we are all being quarantined in a way, and that's good for us.
Mhm. Ariel, would you like to answer the question? What is the cause and solution to the coronavirus epidemic?
Uh, well, as I saw the video, Rob, it's already explained. So I don't think I have to explain it more because it's already there. Mario just gives some additional points. I saw already, Rob. So that's it. That's how. So the solution is only just how we have to unite and for the human level. Uh, the causes of this is we are human. Nobody had to blame, but we are all together with this because we are dependent on each other. And that's how the effect of the virus on us. So we had to solve it also in depending on us also. We are integrated on this system. Thank you.
Okay, and Merle, Merle, how
Rom,
about you?
Rom, if I may interrupt, there are
Yes,
friends
please.
trying to join the Zoom.
Yes,
Please
as
allow them
far
to join the Zoom. There are
I
friends
have,
trying to join the Zoom.
yes, I have. As far as I can see, everybody is
Okay,
admitted.
okay,
Admitted.
okay,
Yes.
okay. So
Okay.
Oswaldo left a note on our chat saying that there are friends trying to enter and they couldn't enter. Anyway,
Yes,
let's go to Merle.
to Merle.
Let's go.
To Merle. Yes, Merle.
All right. Well, again, I'm Merle, and in following to what our Rob said, the teacher, about a system and all this, and then trying to relate this to why did Corona come from this? It's 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 necessary to view what Corona really is and why it came about. As I said before, I have the perspective that it's a correction in the system. In other words, the system was out of balance. The relationships in all systems are a web of connections. And in the human level, we are all connected in the web of interactions between us. It's easy to see that our, our relationships have been out of balance for a long time. And it's easy to see that we're perhaps headed for war, or even worse, if our relationships were not corrected at the moment. So this manifestation of a virus between us is kind of like a toxicity that has expressed itself in our relationship that's incorrect. And because of the action of Corona, we are, like Mario said, having to step back, reboot, reset. we can no longer engage tightly with each other in this toxic manner. We are being forced to distance ourselves and reassess our relationship. And that is the correction that the virus is bringing to the system of relationships that is the human level of creation.
Okay, thank you, Merle. Osvaldo, your turn. What is the cause and the solution to the coronavirus epidemic, the worldwide epidemic?
Thank you, friends. Yeah, the cause, I mean, I can only um, try to rephrase what Rob said, but the cause is just the distortion in our relationships. We've been trying um, to take advantage of one another in everything we do. So it's everywhere. It's like a pandemic of selfishness. So the solution is to fix that, not the virus, not the disease. We need to fix our relationships, and then everything else will fall in place. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Osvaldo. Now, before I give the floor to the Studio Live audience, I would like to invite the panelists if there is something you would like to add before I open the floor to the studio panelists for Q&A.
We have to answer the second part.
Ah,
What is
okay,
the solution?
sige,
Because
go,
we
go,
just answered
go
the
ahead.
first part. What is the cause? Now,
Okay,
what is the
okay.
solution?
Go ahead, Mario. Please answer the second question as detailed as possible.
Okay. Again, I would like to, with your permission, to share the screen so that you can listen to the answer of Rav to the question. Okay. I'd like to, okay, here we go. I'm sharing screen. And these videos, you can view them on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You go to YouTube and then you just type in the search bar Kabbalah Info.
Mm-hmm.
Kabbalah Info. KABBALAHINFO. And all the videos that I've been sharing, you will be able to view there and much more. So,
Mm-hmm.
in answer to the question, what is it that, what is the solution to this problem? So here goes. Let me play.
It's not yet playing. It's
Okay.
paused. Okay,
Okay.
paused. While we're waiting for.
The question is,
Okay.
how should we as a mankind deal with this virus? There are many problems along the way as we develop, and every time we discover new viruses, new problems, also the climate.
Okay, the video is not steady.
Okay.
It okay. So is the
So
video over,
far,
Mario?
yeah. So far, what you said that he seems to be saying, this is not the first time that the world has experienced an event like this, the coronavirus. So let's see if he has.
That's warming up all the time. It emits such things from the planet that every day we discover something new. And also problems from the past can reappear. Things from 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago. We don't know where it all comes from. We weren't around back then. We're conscious of ourselves for only the past few thousands of years. And therefore, we'll reveal more and more of these viruses and other harmful things. What can we do? According to the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's simple. We have nothing to be afraid of if we're connected, because our connection generates a place, a force that kills all germs. As simple as that. Let's test it and see. For example, we just had a Congress in the center of Tel Aviv. More than 5,000 people took part in it. There were people that came from 78 different countries, 78 countries. And we were together for 3 days, and even before that and after that, all in all, we were for about 10 days together. No one's ill. No one even had a running nose. A fever is something. Nothing. Nothing happened. Why? We have a disinfectant. We have this special substance that disinfects all germs, which is our connection. And it's truly so. It's the force of nature that acts against all bad forces. If people want to connect, to come together, nothing can stand against that. By that, they simply disinfect everything and kill all harmful things. Spiritually harmful, corporeally harmful things, everything. And therefore I had no doubt that we needn't cancel the Congress. People turned to me and said, maybe we should cancel the Congress, maybe at least pregnant women or that women with babies won't come. They're ill people that for them it's forbidden altogether to be where there are viruses and so on. Nothing. My daughter is 5 months pregnant. She was at the Congress all 3 days, from morning till evening. Nothing happened. The thought of her staying at home or maybe not coming to the Congress never crossed my mind. And this is why I'm saying that we have a remedy, only it's a bit hard to use it. People have to learn how to use our connection. And that this connection can really destroy all harmful things, starting with viruses that are on the biological level and on the spiritual level and on different corporeal levels, and especially in the relationships between us. How is it that the connection between people acts as a remedy that protects us, cures us from all the different problems and diseases in the world? Maybe it seems mystical, unrealistic, but actually the connection between people, because it's on the highest possible level in our world. We have the degrees of the still, the vegetative, the animate, and the speaking level. So on the levels of the still, the vegetative, and the animate, nature exists as it is, but on the speaking level, on the human level, if people have a good connection between them, then there is the transaction of energy and relations and forces in such a way that by it is it then possible to really, as if disinfect all the thoughts, all the problems, all the relations. Whereas if we're not working toward correcting the relationships, the relations between people, then by that, we cause the increase and appearance of all different harmful biological things, for example, like viruses or other forces like volcanoes, tsunamis, and so on, hurricanes. So therefore, it all depends on the relations between people, because we're on the highest level in nature, and the relationships between us calm nature down or order it to go wild. The coronavirus has already spread to over
Okay, so that was a snippet from Dr. Michael Lightman's interview. And basically, what he was saying, it's all about the connection that we have. That is the solution. That is the answer. If we have a good connection, it seems like miracles will happen. It can be a form of disinfectant that will drive away those things that will cause us to be not connected properly. So these manifestations of viruses, these calamities, these cataclysms, they all reflect humanity's connection to one another. If there is an imbalance, then there is a connection. Just to connect what Merle was saying and what Ariel did mention a while ago. So it's all about the connection. So
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Mario, for that very enlightening video and explanation. Any other additions, explanations from the panelists before I open the floor for the question and answer for our studio audience?
Yeah, I'd just like to add one quick thing that it sounds almost superstitious what our teacher was talking about. But if you consider that the connection between everything in creation is life itself, this force of life, it's not so far-fetched to believe that when this is in balance, you can look at a small group, a small body, and see that when it's healthy, it acts a certain way and does not get sick. Similarly, it works in a large group like a population of humanity on the planet. I just want to interject that the connection is the life force. This is what we're bound by. That's all.
Thank you, Merle. Ariel, any final additions before we open the floor to the Q&A for our studio live?
I think we will just go ahead
Yel,
with
baka pwede ka magtagalog, Yel.
paano ka magtatanong?
Oh, okay lang. Para yung mga Pilipino na, manonood na makikinig is comfortable sa Tagalog.
I got
Sinabihan ko naman sila na Tagalog, may magtatagalog rin tayo eh. So
I got
go ahead.
confused actually. I don't know. That's what I'm expecting. I supposed to speak in Filipino, but I cannot just let our friend who is speaking in English that I just have to speak another language that they don't understand. I got confused. So sorry.
Okay. What about Oswaldo? Oswaldo, any final additions before we open the floor to the Q&A?
Thank you, brother. Let's fix our connections. Let's fix our relationships, and that's it. There's no magic. There's Ralph said it. It's all the answers that we've been looking for are there.
Okay. Thank you so much, panelists, Ariel, Mario, Merle, Oswaldo. And now the floor is now open for Q&A, questions and answers. So Gloria and Esther Kumagun and Nadav listening. Okay, Nadav listening. You are the live studio guest. Please ask questions Who would like to begin? Who is the brave Studio Live audience? I think Gloria is the bravest. Gloria. Gloria, you're okay. I think your camera, your microphone. Let me check. Okay. I- Please unmute your microphone. Hello, Glo. Uh, Glo, please unmute
Okay,
your mic. Okay, ayan.
the chat.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
you
yeah.
ask your question.
Okay. Actually, na-sign off ako eh. Nag-huwi na yung data ko. So, uh, the question I would like to refer to is for Oswaldo. Yeah, he mentioned about the cause of coronavirus is about distortion of relationship. Can you elaborate for me, of what do you mean by this? About distortion of relationship. That's one of the cause of coronavirus. So any addition to that? I know because it's not for me it's not clear of what is the solution for this kind of relationship that it was being distorted.
Hey, Gloria.
Swallow.
Yeah, of course. As for the solution, it seems to me that it's something completely unknown because we are selfish by nature. So it's like trying to explain, I don't know, a fish what is water. We are immersed in our selfishness, so it's really hard to get out of it. And we can try hard to do it on our own, but it's like chasing our own tails. So the only way we can do this is by connecting with other people, by finding meaningful relationships with people, and that relationships that do not depend on our self gratification.
Are you okay? Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Proceed.
So so you're trying to tell me that the solution of distortion of relationship is to keep the relationship going. Yeah, maybe it's one of the way of the purpose of God why we are suffering right now about coronavirus. It's an epidemic, really, but uh, one of this is one of the reasons why God allows things to happen because nowadays before the coronavirus, a relationship of the people are distorted. Really, that's what I can see. But at this point in time that we are suffering coronavirus, is we are experiencing unity. The relationship of the family getting intact. So maybe you're right. This is about time for us to unite ourselves again. Our president is already intact with the he's already sensitive enough for the needs of the people of the people of the Philippines. So thank you for the enlightenment. Oswaldo, thank you.
And for the benefit of our panelists, Gloria Antuerfia is a person with disability. Okay? She is a polio uh,
Polio,
patient
using crutches.
since 5 years old. Since 5 years old, and together with Gloria, we are managing the person with disability advocates group. So I would like to invite Jay. Jay, can you unmute yourself? I think Jay is also yeah. Jay, would you like to ask something to our panelists?
Just a comment. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Just a comment, just an observation. As you said, it started why because as what Gloria said, we are having a disorientation in our relationship. And in times now, the basic relationship I could think about is our family. We're having problems inside in our family. Having the coronavirus right now is forcing us to be quarantined in our home. And it started at home, our relationship. Basic relationships right now are having problems not only in the Philippines, but worldwide. That is why I think it should be starting at home. Then later on, what we don't have a good relationship at home, we cannot give it to other individuals. That's why it should started in ourselves. How do we start a good relationship if we can't have a good relationship at home? And putting us quarantine at home, we have to talk to the people who are with us at home. If we're not having a good relationship at home, then meaning outside, we try to pretend who we are. And later on, while we are being quarantined at home, we should start a new relationship at home. And later on, when we learn, then we can go out and what we learn from home, we bring it out in the world. That's my point of view only. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay, for your comment. And any reactions from the panelists for Jay's comment? Merle, I think you're about to say something, Merle.
Sure. Yeah, I would like to agree with Jay in this much, that it's true that you have to return to the basic part of your relationship. We started this with what is the distortion in the relationship? He's saying bring it to home and straighten it out, because in this, a home life, a family life is something that's been tested by trial and error through the generations. It's come into a form that is successful in continuing our species for many, many generations. But to unreel it a little further, it's like, what is this distortion? I think the distortion is this, that at this age where our ego says that we are the center of the universe, this is the distortion. A child is born thinking he's the center of the universe and all the world is around him. This is the birth of the ego. This is what Oswaldo was saying. You don't know that you're in this environment, you're in this egoistic system. This is the distortion. The thing that the coronavirus is trying to do is to say, you are not the center. I will push you away and show you what the center is. Show you that if you care for others, if you take care of others, you will start to see the true center, and it's not you. You're here to protect the center. You're here to serve the center. In other words, you're a wheel in a large group, like in a family or in a society, but you're only a wheel, and you have to work in concert with everyone else. Your relationship has to be harmonious with others. You are not the center. It's not there to serve you. You are there to serve it. And if we would start to do this, we will start to see the correction of our relationship.
Any additions, Mario, Oswaldo, Ariel? Okay, so I'd like to Mario, yes.
Yeah. I will say something in English and at the same time say something in Filipino as well
Yes,
for the
please.
benefit of those who'd rather listen to answers in Filipino. So, maganda yung sinabi ni Jay. Jay gave a very wonderful answer. It starts with one's effort. Nagsisimula sa sarili yon. And it starts with this immediate environment, which is the family. Sa pamilya, yun kasi ang una mong kinagisnan. You were born there, doon ka pinanganak. At doon mo makikita yung ano ba talaga ang mundo natin? Sinabi nga ni Oswaldo said, the relationships is a reflection, reflect what's going on around us. Pinapakita ng coronavirus na may diferensya yung pagkakaugnayan natin, yung relasyon natin sa isa't isa. So, pag sa bahay nagsimula tayo na maganda yung relasyon natin sa isa't isa, o kung ano man yung dapat kailangan ayusin, tinabaho natin, then if we fix these internal problems that we have in family, then we can use this, just like what Jay said, no? Kagaya sinabi Jay na paglabas natin sa mundo, when we go outside, then we will be able to share whatever it is that we learned to improve the relationships with other people. So magiging maganda na rin yung pakikitungo natin sa ibang tao. Ngayon, sa mga kaibigan, sa mga kakilala natin, those people we know, then we have no problems because we know them very well already. But what about those people that we don't know, yung mga hindi natin kilala? What about those people na kagalit natin? What about those people that we are not in good terms with? What about those people we barely know? So how do we relate to them? Paano na tayo makikitungo doon sa mga hindi natin kilala? So yung coronavirus, pinapaalala sa atin, reminds us that we are all in this one integrated system. I think Merle mentioned that. Kaya nung sinabi ni Merle. Na kailangan magtulungan. Just like in a body, sa katawan, lahat ng organs nagtutulungan. Pag may one part of the body is sick, everyone pitches in, all the organs take over. And to assist that organ na may sakit, the organ which is sick. Of course, the whoever is a nurse here or a doctor or anyone who studied anatomy or physiology can explain this better. Pero yun nga, there's a saying in Filipino, sakit ng kalingkingan, dama ng buong katawan. If a finger hurts, the whole body feels it. Even a little pinky. If pinky hurts, the whole body feels the pain. So, yun lang pwedeng maganda yung sagot ni Jay. Jay more or less got the idea of what Rob was saying, that it's all about the relations, it's all about the connection. And BNEI Philippines, and you've heard from some of our friends who are in the study as well, mga kasama natin sa pag-aaral na galing sa iba't ibang parte ng mundo. If you want to learn more about this wisdom, which gives us this kind of perspective, para matutunan ito, kasama ko dito si Ariel nga. Si Ariel ang siyang nag-aral at nag-training sa BNEI BARUCH para magturo nitong wisdom ng Kabbalah. So, Ariel, kung meron kang pwedeng idagdag.
Gustong magpatuloy ng gusto mag-enroll o mag-register ng sa KABU. Meron kaming platform sa English, dapat ko siguro isulat, edu.kabbalah.info, edu.kabbalah.info. Yun yung site where you can go to register and learn Kabbalah informal. And all the studies, the steps is been there. So, yeah, ulitin ko, edu.kabbalah.info.
Okay. So, and I would like to Oswaldo, would you like to add something? Would you like to add, Oswaldo? No more? Okay. I would like to invite Esther Kumagun. Esther Kumagun is my mother. Esther Kumagun is my mother. If there's any relationship that I am really, yeah, connected to to be my mother. And she has been very supportive of all my activities, including this broadcast. So, Mama, do
Ano,
you have, would you like to ask a question to our panelists?
wala. Sasabihin ko lang na walang sino man na nabubuhay para sa sarili lamang. Yan ang buod ng
Well,
discussion.
yes, Mama, we have foreigner guests. Would you care to speak in English?
Pa-interpret mo na lang sa kay Jay.
Okay. Jay, Ojo naman, Jay, Ojo. Interpret daw pero English language.
Mami, you're telling the mom of Rom will want to inform that no one lives alone of himself, and everyone is. You need someone. You need others to be connected in the world.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Jay's task has doubled from being a sign language interpreter to becoming a Filipino English translator. Thank you, Jay, for the additional service. Okay. What about Nadav listening? Nadav listening. Would you like to ask a question for our
Well,
panelists?
if he's listening, he cannot speak. If he says he's listening, he's just going to listen. He's not going to speak.
Oh, I see. I see.
Unless he opens
I'm
his
sorry.
mic and
This
say
is
something.
Nadav here. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
We can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can.
I'm at work. Give me 5 minutes and I can talk in 5 minutes if that's okay with you.
Yes, sure. No
Okay.
problem. We'll wait for
In
you.
5 minutes.
In 5 minutes. Okay. Thank you, Natav. He's at work right now. So, okay. While waiting for Nadav, I had a question in mind. Okay. The solution to the medical problem is social distancing. Okay, that's the protocol. That's the basic physical solution. Okay. Does the social distancing aspect of the medical solution affect the KABBALAH solution, which is improving the connections, the human connections? Bear, seems like you have an answer.
Yeah, I would like to answer that because in Kabbalah, we have a simple idea that you know something from its opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want the solution to be a better connection, what better way to know than to have something give you the opposite? In other words, this distance that's put forward separates us from the way we were connected, number one. And number two, it gives us a lack for a connection that we needed to have. We had a connection, it was incorrect. But now we have a distance and we have a need to fill it with a connection. This becomes an awareness. And that's why it matches perfectly with a solution in Kabbalah. You will know something by its opposite.
Oh, thank you, Merle. Your answer is a paradox. It's a paradox that we have to do a lot of reflecting. Okay. I see. Any additions, Oswaldo? Oh, Nadav. Oswaldo. Okay. Nadav is here. Nadav, it seems, is ready. Okay. Okay. Nadav, are you ready to pose your question? Okay. Okay. I can. Okay, Nadav. Welcome, Nadav. Uh, uh, would you like to ask your question?
Um, sure. over in the Philippines, and I'm thinking about how I want all this to succeed. And my question is, how do you guys see the coronavirus? Do you see it as a blessing or as a curse?
Okay. Anybody would like to answer? We can. Merle, Merle. Mhm.
Well, I think he was asking in the Philippines, how are you receiving this coronavirus?
Oh,
I'm in
okay.
Minneapolis.
Thank you for clarifying. I think Glo, would you like to comment on that question, Glo? Gloria Antwerfia. She's Glo. Please unmute your microphone. Please unmute your microphone, Glo.
Okay.
Okay, because
Okay.
Mer clarified that Nadab's question was pertaining to the Philippine experience. So, uh,
Is according to what's the dub? The dub yun, di ba? Yeah, he's about to tell us about is it he's telling this
Nadav,
about in the Philippines.
Nadav, could you
Yeah,
please
okay.
repeat the question, Nadav?
Yeah,
Could you,
okay. Yeah.
Nadav, please repeat the question. Okay, Nadav is unresponsive. Merle, could you please repeat? Okay, Nadav is away. Nadav, could you please repeat your question?
Sure. I wanted to know how you guys in the Philippines, I'm not sure how the Philippines is coping with the coronavirus or how bad it is over there, but I did wanted to know if any of you, oh, sorry, how do you guys see the virus? Is it a blessing for you? Is it a curse? Do you feel like it's actually helping in creating a newer, better society, or is it dragging everybody down and causing more problems than we had before, or you had before?
Hello, Glo, reaction?
Yeah. Yeah. My reaction is about the coronavirus is causing problem. And at the same time, it's a blessing. Why? Why it's a blessing? Because this is the time that we are get connected with one another. First, in the family, within the family, of course, in a family, there are times that problem arise. But in this kind of situation, the family builds up love, trust, and good relationship. That's the blessing, and the problem about coronavirus is distortion. Uh, it's a disease really, and most of the people in the Philippines are getting scared, distorted in the means of one way is how to cope up with the daily needs. That's one way of the distortion. But when God allows things to happen, because God created everything perfect, but in ourselves, it's up to us on how to live with it. But uh, in the first place, family is the basic on how to build good relationship with love, trust, and unity. So that's one of the solution. And I would like to ask Mario. I am referring this question to
Okay, Glo,
Mario.
Glo,
Okay, okay, okay,
I like to pause you first, okay?
okay.
Because I think Jay would be able to respond to Nadav's question
Yeah, okay,
because
okay.
Jay has been interpreting on a voluntary basis all the news broadcasts in the Philippines right now. They don't have sign language interpretation. So what Jay has been doing on a voluntary basis he has been feeding live videos of him interpreting sign language, using sign language, interpreting all the national news broadcasts in the Philippines. So Jay, I think, is very qualified to respond to Nadab's question. Jay, would you like to comment how is the coronavirus affecting society, Philippine communities?
Thank you, Rom. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
First of all, in the news, um, everyone is scared of the coronavirus because what they see in the news is the news that there is death, and people are scared of death. And then now, some of the Filipino people, apparently, majority of the Filipino people are doing their own business. So in this kinds of business, it brings food in the table. And now, because the coronavirus came here in the Philippines, the people are having panic. Why? Because they cannot anymore continue with the business because the government forced all of the business, majority of the business, to stop. Why? Because the virus might be contacted. We don't know who and where will the virus going to. So there's, in terms of in the barangay setup, those Filipino people who are in the marginalized sector, they are the first one who are in a big problem because if they don't eat in a day, if they don't work in a day, they don't have money and they cannot feed their family. So basically, these are the troubled people who are in the marginalized, and I think almost 70% of the Philippines right now are in the marginalized group. These people. So that's the big problem. Here in the Philippines, the problem is the connection from the national until to the local government. Majority of the people are complaining they are not yet being heard or they are not being received by the national government, or the barangay officials haven't given them relief goods, and they are already hungry. So that's the main problem. It's somehow the business also have some corruption. There is a worldwide spread of the corruption. That's why if the national government will be giving money until to the local government, there are still corruptions happening, and people are complaining that they are not receiving the goods that coming from the national government. So still, some people see this coronavirus as a benefit. Some of the benefit for those who are corrupted. Some of the people would see this as a let me say a problem in their daily lives because of they have just a simple work. If they work in a day, then they get food. If they don't work in the day, they don't feed their family. That's what's happening here in the Philippines. 70% of the people doesn't have enough food in their table, and this coronavirus is somehow showing what kind of government we are having now. It's informing people right now and learning from this kind of situation what kind of government officials we are voting for. Are they working for the government? I think these are the questions now the people are thinking. Some of the people will be thinking, I got paid. I am a vote. I received payment for buying my vote. So now, what do you think? Are you receiving the government goods, or are you satisfied with the person who you voted for? Are they working for you? People right now are evaluating themselves. That's what I can say.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. And as for me, my experience has been like this. Okay. Well, on the personal, society-wide, I feel like majority of the Filipinos are really scared. They're scared. They they want an immediate cessation to this epidemic. um, they want it April 2020. Our community quarantine will be over. But I keep telling my mother, let's prepare for the worst, and let's be thankful if everything will be cut short. Okay. From a personal level, this coronavirus has given us a chance to connect more within the home, within the quarantine area of the home. With my son, especially with my son, we had because I had to cover the Philippine Army Day. We had to go to the Fort Bonifacio, our Philippine Army headquarters, and I had no one else to depend to but my son. So my son was my transport service. My son was my camera service, and is so far it's the best time of my life so far with family. Um, And from a teacher's point of view, okay, I think majority of the teachers now are now all of a sudden they're challenged. How can they teach using technology? And Zoom came at a very good time for this because I think worldwide schools are using Zoom for doing their online classes. Okay, so and from an online broadcaster point of view, and I've been challenged. I've been using several live broadcasting software, and I found Zoom to be perfect for this situation. Okay, so that's why in this broadcast I would have we have invited the public to join. Okay, and this broadcast is supposed to be going live on Facebook. Unfortunately, something is not working well, so I decided we will just record. I will just record it and then post it later. Okay. But at this moment, I'd like to thank all the guests who have participated. Okay, this will demonstrate this will demonstrate what Zoom can do, and okay. So having said that, I will now turn the floor to Gloria. I think Gloria has a question. So Gloria, would you like to ask your
Yeah,
question
my
now?
question, yeah. Narinig mo ka?
Yes, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay. My question, I'm referring my question to Mario. Yeah,
Mario, paging Mario.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the question is, what is the cause of coronavirus? Since corona and virus is they have different meanings. So for me, corona. So I want a perfect answer for this. Corona for me is a good, is good, di ba? Perfect kasi when sa mga beauty pageant ginagawa ito, ito ang ginagamit. So why epidemic? Why virus? Can you answer that? Ba't nakakamatay ito? Corona, since nakakaano nga, di ba? Imagine, beauty queen. Why virus? Why epidemic? Can you answer that?
I don't know, Gloria, if I will be able to answer that, but from what I heard, they call it corona because when they looked at it under the microscope, it looks like it has a crown on top of it. So that's why it's corona. So I'm sorry I was away for a short time, but it's okay. I'm back. Uh, Is
What
there
about Ariel? Ariel, would you like to answer Glo's question, Ariel?
Corona, because it's, as Mario said, but it's a virus. It just so happened that when you look at the microscope, it looks a crown, but it's a virus.
Okay. Okay. So, Gloria, are you satisfied with the responses of our panelists? It seems Gloria is not satisfied. I think Gloria is looking for some kind of a poetic response, a poetic answer. Uh, Merle seems to have something in mind. Merle?
Yeah, there's something that we talk about called the Partsuf. At the very head, all new things, all new light that enters the world, enters into the Keter, which is called the crown of creation. And so the feel that this virus is coming into the crown, is called the crown, is because it's coming to our awareness that there's a correction that it brings with it. Its action in our world will make us aware like we haven't before. It coming into the crown through our head, above us. It comes from above down. And that's how you know, far from being a curse, it will prove to be a blessing.
Wow, thank you, Merle. What about Oswaldo? Any thoughts on the question?
What can I say? I think the friends have said it all. There's the less intellect we use to connect with others, the stronger our connection will be.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jay. I think Jay has a response to Gloria's question.
Miss Gloria, as what Miss Gloria is telling about the crown, here in the Philippines, we're loved about beauty contest, beauty queen. I remember there's a thought that came inside me. When you say a crown, it's two ways. Crown of what wants you to reign. Is it a crown of love? And when you say love, a crown of love, which is first, we have a tough love. Second, the love as how we love different individuals. If we say tough love, that is same as government saying, stay at home. You have to be at home and sanitize yourself. When you stay at home and you sanitize yourself, you don't transfer the virus to other individuals. And that's loving yourself, loving other individuals. And the second love is what? We care for other individuals. When we care for other individuals, then we not socialize for now. For now, we don't socialize, but we socialize in our house. We socialize with ourselves first, because somehow when we are outside, we are beauty queens. We pretend to be beauty queens, but we are not, but we are struggling with ourselves. We have to go back at home and try to analyze ourselves. Sometimes we are bored. Then what do we do ourselves? How do we improve ourselves? So that later on, we can also improve, not to become or not to pretend with other individuals outside. And then we improve our relationships outside, having a crown of how we love different people. So that's what came in my mind.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jay.
Can I add the Rome?
Yes, yes, please. Yes, please.
A crown is a symbol of a king. Now, coronavirus is ruling everybody.
Yes, thank you. And for me, I'd like to come from a Christian point of view. Okay, the very image of a Christian of Christ is somebody with a crown of thorns, a crown of thorns, and the crown of thorns is in fact a paradox. It is both a punishment. It is an execution, one of the execution methods, and yet that crown of thorns is the saving factor for for Christians and for everybody. So that is how I feel about the glorious question. Crown of thorns, coronavirus 19. Okay, Glo?
Yes.
Okay. Are you satisfied? Any follow-up questions?
No, ano lang, in addition to, I agree with Jay about the crown,
Mhm.
because corona and virus is different for me. Crown is signifies it ano, it signifies for me it's a reign of love, as what Jay said. That it's it's for me it's a cure. It's a medicine.
Mhm.
Ba? It's a medicine because it's about love, loving yourself, loving individual, and to love having a crown is being a good person. It's a reflection of one self-perfect person. But then we are not everybody we are not perfect, but in ourselves we can say we are perfect because God created us as perfect. And what uh, Rome said that uh, crown of thorns is a saving life Christians. It's a salvation that God suffered for us because of love. So that's it. That's what Corona means for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are about to end, unless there is another question from the panelists, from the studio live audience. Any final questions? Okay, Jay, would you have some question? Final question before we end?
I think the saving part, did we answer?
This.
Uh,
Mhm.
for me, the saving part is always we will later on see what kind of relationship we're going to have to the other countries. Is now we're starting to have, and we are looking at our world leaders. How will they set aside any political aspect and show concerns for the people?
Okay, thank you for that comment. And okay, if there are no questions from the from the studio live audience, I would like to give the floor now. Oh, okay, Nadav, you have a question?
I was just wanting to know, um, if say it's not gonna end in April, like you say, um, how do you see yourselves as helping other people in need in the place of the government, where obviously, like Jay says, it seems like they take care mostly of themselves and less of the people. How do you guys see yourself as savers of people?
Okay, I think that is that addressed only to Filipinos, Nadav?
It's an open question. Whoever feels he has an answer for it, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so this question can also be for China, for Toronto, for Seattle. And Merle, where is your location, Merle?
In Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Okay, who would like to answer Nadav's question? Okay, I think uh, Ariel. Ariel, would you like to? How is how would you like to respond to Nadav's question?
It will be depending on the how the people will take it. It's it might be an overdose or a cure. It depends.
Okay. Seattle, how?
Yung tanong ni Nadav, ano daw ang tingin ninyo pag natapos na ang corona?
If it no, I think it's the other way around. If it prolongs,
Ganun ba?
oh, if
Pag
it,
tumagal pa yung corona, ano sa tingin nyo yung magagawa ninyo para sa mga kababayan natin na nangangailangan ng tulong o yung kapuspalad?
correct.
So, the first thing that comes to mind, Nadav, is that the Philippines, it gets what? There's something like 17 to 20 typhoons or tornadoes every year. So we experience these calamities on a regular basis. And we're also part of the, what they call the ring of fire. So countries falling on this ring of fire experience a lot of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. In fact, before this corona outbreak, there was an old volcano. Well, it's one of the most active volcanoes in the country, the Taal volcano, 300 kilometers south of Manila, the capital. Exploded. The last time it did was, I think, in the 1960s, so more than 15 years old. So I was told. Every time these calamities come around, everyone, then government says, "Oh, we're going to release this money," and then, of course, everyone knows that this government support is not enough. Will not be enough. As Jay pointed out, corruption takes place in so many ways during those times as well. So funds don't go where they're supposed to go. Hindi natatanggap ng mga tao yung talagang. Meron naman nakakatanggap. Some people receive, but it's not accounted for. Hindi talaga na o-audit yung pera na lumalabas pag may sakuna, yung calamity fund. Why is it that people, during these types of calamities, they become instantaneously, even without thinking, they become generous. They donate food, extra clothes, mga basic necessities, mga basehang pangangailangan. Maraming nagdo-donate, maraming nagbibigay. Bakit tuwing bagyo lang? Bakit ganun? So, sa tingin ko, I think, Nadav, if this virus continues on, then we'll see more. We see more of this, just like the experience of the Jewish people as well. Maybe that's a topic for another discussion with Roman friends. Jews come together, that's in times of crisis, and Filipinos also come together. If this goes on, I think more people will continue. Those who hesitate to help, they will now start helping. But why does it take a calamity to happen first before we start doing this? Why not, when things look well, why don't we look for those people, like the persons with disabilities? Why don't we look for those people who are truly in need, even in times of, shall we say, peace, in times of seemingly in order? Why do we have to wait for these calamities to happen? So, in answer to that, I think pag tumagal pa ito, if this coronavirus can happen, it will wake up more hearts. More hearts will be open. It will be generous. Come to think of it, parang gusto mo, you may want this, to go on and on, because you will see people will become more compassionate about their fellow citizens. They will be more helpful. They'll be open. They'll be exerting more effort. To my mind, I think that's what's going to happen, because we see in the Philippines every time there's a calamity. Now, if the coronavirus ends, skeptics would say, "Oh, okay, we're back to the old arrangement, old order. Uh, uh, People in positions of power will continue to take advantage of their power, and those who remain at the bottom will remain at the bottom, just like and this incongruous relationship will continue to persist." So parang balik sa dati pag nawala na yung virus. Kaya gusto ko kung pwede nga tuloy-tuloy yung virus na to para tuloy-tuloy yung tulungan, tuloy-tuloy yung malasakit. How many Facebook page posts have you seen where people are trying to, there's a call that we should pray for the frontliners, no, yung mga the doctors, the nurses, the cleanup people, the grocery people. I mean, those who expose themselves to risks, to danger of contracting this deadly disease. So if that is what it takes for humanity to rediscover itself, meaning that to realize that we are all connected, that we're all in this together, then let it be so. And hopefully humanity learns its lesson from what's going on. That later on, if this coronavirus subsides, we will learn to be more compassionate. We would be able to treat each other better, and do away with the old structures which engenders these inequalities everywhere. So the prayer is let's continue doing this with or without coronavirus. Otherwise, we might get something even worse than coronavirus. So
Okay. Thank you, Mario. How about from China? Oswaldo from China. How's the China, the experience of China? How is your experience in China?
Well, I haven't changed my name on Zoom, but I've been in Canada for the last.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I was
so
in
Canada
China.
then.
I was in China for I've been in China for a while, and but I left a month ago, and I experienced quarantine in China, and now I'm experiencing quarantine in Canada. So it looks like the virus is chasing me and putting me into quarantine wherever I go. So it it's been an interesting experience because for the first time we don't have a choice. We have to be at peace with ourselves and with others, and we are doing what we should have done by our own will. We are being forced to think of others, to consider others, and that's the way nature is showing us that either we correct ourselves or then things like this will continue to happen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Oswaldo, speaking from Canada. Toronto. Are you speaking from Toronto?
Sorry?
No, I was asking Oswaldo. Where in Canada are you speaking from?
In Vancouver.
Vancouver. I see. Okay.
my neighbor, Oswaldo is my neighbor.
I see. Okay. Ariel, from Toronto. How about your response to an Adab's question from Toronto? Your experience from Toronto.
What's the question? I didn't get the question.
Nadav was asking, what if this coronavirus does not end by April as everybody hopes to? What if it prolongs, let's say, 6 months to a year?
I remember. I already answered. It depends.
Oh, okay.
It might be a medicine or an overdose to Filipinos.
I see. Okay, okay. To Philip, what I was thinking, what about in Canada as a
I don't know from Osvaldo's side, but we are good in here.
I see, I see. All right. Merle from Minneapolis, how is the situation? Minneapolis, are you prepared for the long haul?
Well, I think there's no choice that if it's not the virus, The virus is really a purifying agent. It's pushing people apart. It's cleaning out the connection that's corrupted. The corruption you see seeping in with the people trying to steal the aid money in the Philippines right now is a sign that there's still a poison in the connection between people. And if the virus doesn't do its job, if it needs to continue, it will. And believe me, if the job is not completed, something else will come along. Something else will come along and continue the work. That's how I feel. You got word?
Thank you, Mark. Okay, so I think that we have exhausted the questions from the studio live audience. Okay, so a few before we end our broadcast. Okay, final messages from the panelists. This is the final message from the panelists. We can begin with Ariel.
Yeah, Ron, thank you so much for giving us opportunity to explain. It is a kind of we have to unite, we have to love each other, we are depending on each other. That's all. To make it to that point, you need to study Kabbalah. That's the recommendations that we're getting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ariel. Mario, final message before we end our broadcast.
I'd like to continue what Ariel was saying. So if you study Kabbalah, you not only get the big picture, but you learn more about intricacies, ano yung the backstage of things, the inner workings of the forces, the laws of nature, and so on. And Ariel, unahan ko na, sabihin ko na. In 2 days, on the 28th, we're going to have a introductory lecture. If you friends are interested, just visit the Facebook page. Invite your friends who might be interested in learning this method. Visit Kabbalah Philippines on Facebook. Again, go to Facebook and go to Kabbalah Philippines and register. So it's going to be this coming Saturday. So yeah, we don't want to wait for another calamity to happen, but the ongoing, it's what just like what Merle was saying, there's a cleansing process going on. And I've heard some friends even say it's like a new world is being born, actually. So what we're experiencing is a birthing pain. It's like a woman in labor is trying to give birth a child. So if you focus on the pain, and then, of course, it's going to feel bad. It's going, it's not going to look good. But, if you look forward to the baby who's going to be born, a baby who gives hope that that everything is right in the world, then this pain you will look at it as a temporary event. It's just going to be, in the meantime, you just have to go through this pain and then look forward to this new world, to this new baby that will arise. And hopefully there'll be more love, there's going to be more giving, and the more people will study Kabbalah and try to practice whatever their belief is, and it becomes a better world for everyone. So thank you again, thank you, Ron, for this giving us, not only myself, Ron, being a friend of yours, giving us friends in the study an opportunity to share our thoughts with your audience, and those who will be watching this on Facebook, to learn more about what we have to share, this authentic wisdom who's been finally revealed in what we're told to be the days of the Messiah, the times of the Messiah. So Kabbalah is now being revealed to everyone. And to learn more about this, please go to Facebook, register on Kabbalah Philippines. You will see the link there about this introductory lecture, the virtual, and that will be done in Filipino, in the vernacular, this coming Saturday. So 2 days from now, sa Sabado po. Punta lang po kayo sa Facebook, Kabbalah Philippines. Hanapin niyo po sa Facebook Kabbalah Philippines at makita niyo po yung link sa introductory lecture on Kabbalah. What is the meaning of life? Ano ba talaga ang kahulugan ng buhay?
Yes, thank you, Mario. I also have a lot to thank you for. You know, one, I've learned the ARVUT workshop, which Mario, by the way, is an ARVUT facilitator. ARVUT workshop, ARVUT method uh, practitioner. In fact, Mario and I are with Gloria are also planning some kind of a workshop which will be open to all group leaders. Okay, so I'd like to thank Mario for introducing me to the ARVUT method of conducting workshops, and to the best of my abilities, I hope I have tried to apply some basic elements of the ARVUT method in this broadcast. And number two, I'd like to thank you for introducing me to your friends, to Oswald, to Ariel, to Merle, to Dan last night. Yes,
To
it's
Nadav too, Nadav.
Nadav. Yes, Nadav. I feel so privileged that I am connected in some way uh, to you and to Mario's friends, basically. And
Thank you, Rom. I get to meet Jay, your mom. Si Jay, if you need an interpreter, at least I know who I mean the sign language interpreter.
yes,
Alam ko
because oh,
who is my go-to person now, si Jay. And of course,
correct.
Gloria. And there was one other lady, si Cynthia.
Mm.
Cynthia, thank you for coming over. You don't have a mic, but your presence alone is something to be grateful for. So,
Yeah.
thank you po, Nanay Esther.
Okay. And then so we proceed to Oswald. Oswaldo. Final message before we wrap up.
Thank you, friends. I don't have much to say. It's been a pleasure sharing these moments with you, moments of connection. This is the essence of Kabbalah. The words will vanish in the end on all the intellect, all the knowledge. This is what we're here for. We're here for connection, and we're doing it. So I think you should be proud of yourselves, friends.
Thank you. Merle.
Well, yeah, I want to thank you for the field promotion. It was a great job. I thought I was just coming here to listen in support of my friend Mario, and I found it very interesting. And I feel like, you know, I know Dono, who you guys all know, I think, in the Philippines, and to hear you guys and to see the work that you're trying to accomplish, it's great to be a part of it. And I was happy to put in my 2 cents. I hope they did some help. If not, I'll come up with better ones next time. But thank you for letting me participate.
Your participation, Merle. I don't think this this broadcast won't be as as imaginative, as colorful with without your inputs. Same with everybody. Okay, Oswald, Mario, and Ariel. And as final uh, word, I would like to try something. I'd like mother, mama, mama.
Ano?
Okay, I'd like to try something. This is our final message. This is final message. Okay. I remember you telling me something about the Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark experience. Could you please tell the group what you told me about the Noah's Ark and its relation to the coronavirus experience?
Kasi yung nangyayari ngayon, parang nangyari na ano pa sa Noah's Ark. Natipid yung tao sa isang barko na walang naririnig kung hindi patak lang na ulan. walang narinig na mausap sa labas. At yun ang narinig hanggang. Pero napos din yun. Nahirapan, pero natapos. Ang magkama lang nila mga animals. Yun. Natatapos din yung unos yun. Kaya ito, natapos din to. Yun lang ang inaano ko.
Thank you, my mother dear.
At saka sa discussion ninyo, sa mga nakikita, marami silang natutunan at matatauhan sa topic ng discussion ninyo. Marami sa mga speaker.
Thank you, mother, for supporting me from day one of my life up to now that I'm here 54. Without end, without ceasing.
So,
Uh,
Rom, for the
yes.
benefit of the friends, what did your mom say?
Okay, Ariel. I mean Jay. Jay, translation, please.
What the she said that what's happening now is same as what happened in the Old Testament or in the Bible, which is the Noah's Ark. Before it happened because God wants to destroy the world, so it came. They built a great ark. Then there were only animals there, and somehow the people inside there was also reflecting, why is this happening? But through that all, amidst that all, it ended and it started again. And same as what's happening now, it will be ended and it will be, later on, it will be a light, a silver lining will be coming in also.
Okay, thank you so much, Jay, for your translation. Okay, so we are about to end. Any final last minute? 3 seconds. Last 3
Huwag niyo na
seconds.
po kalimutan, sa Sabado, go to KABBALAH Philippines.
Thank
and
you.
register.
Thank you, Nadab. Morning lesson.
Okay. Okay, going. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. Thank you very much for participating. See you soon. See you soon.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
friends.
Thank you.
Thank you for the support.